Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Fiercely Spiritual podcast. Today, we are talking about how to know if you're an empath. I'll be discussing 5 signs to know if you're an empath, and I'll explain what they are, what that means, and you'll have a clear understanding of what an empath is. So we're going to get into this. If you haven't met me before, my name is Sandra Ray. I'm an author, healer, and spiritual teacher. And thank you so much for being here, for tuning in, and for listening. So what I want to make clear is that everyone is empathic on some level. If you're alive, if you have feelings, if you're emotions, you're an empath on some level. So I just want to clarify that. And apologies once again, it's like my dog times this where she's sleeping beside me. I think it's when she hears my voice that it wakes her up and she starts playing and she starts making noise in the background. So it was beautifully silent a minute ago. So apologies if you can hear dog noise in the background. So everyone, as I said, is empathic on some level, but obviously there's people who have a particularly heightened empathic ability. I don't want to say ability as such because it's something that you don't really have to develop. I'm sure it can be developed, but from my own experience, I know that it's something that has just always been there. Now, many empaths will say that it's not a good thing to have, that it can be a hindrance. And I can totally relate to that. I'll talk more about that a little later on. But what I want to do is to help empaths to embrace where they're at and what they're experiencing, and to know that it is actually a benefit. And particularly for us healers and sensitive types, it really is a benefit. So 5 signs you're an empath. So the first one is heightened feelings. So this is where you feel things yourself. You might be classed as a highly sensitive person, where you're really sensitive to noise, to like loud noises, to sound, to smells, to aroma, to touch. You're sensitive on that level, but also you're sensitive to other people's feelings. And we're going to talk about this in a moment. And you notice that you just experience the world in a heightened fashion. And it can be that you see a sunset or a rainbow and you find yourself just standing in awe or experiencing feelings of joy just looking at it. Now, of course, there's lots of people who've experienced feelings of joy looking at a sunset, but you tend to notice the small things. When you're out in nature, you feel the energy of nature. You feel euphoric when you're in the presence of, when you're at the beach or at a mountain or just in nature in general. So heightened feelings is the first one. Now, of course, there's people who have heightened feelings. There's people who are highly sensitive people who aren't empaths. So what distinguishes those who have heightened feelings, who are highly sensitive, to empaths? So the second one is heightened emotions. So you not only feel your own emotions really deeply, this goes for painful emotions, sadness, grief, and also pleasurable emotions, joy, happiness. But you also feel other people's emotions. Now, this to me is where it starts to differentiate from a highly sensitive person. A highly sensitive person might be feeling things on a heightened level, they might be feeling things on a heightened level, but they may not feel other people's emotions. So empaths feel other people's emotions. So it could be that when somebody else is crying, you cry with them. You get emotional watching movies. You find that you feel emotions, not just on an individual level, but on a group level or even a planetary level. There could be something happening across the other side of the world and you can feel that emotionally, or you get upset by it. For me, the way this plays out is when I'm in, well, it doesn't have to be close proximity, but I'll give you both examples. When I'm in close proximity with somebody, I can often feel their emotions. I remember when I was at a funeral and I went up to one of the relatives and I gave them a hug, and immediately I was flooded with like sadness, grief. I felt like I wanted to start just crying, and I like, as soon as I hugged that person, all this came over me. So that wasn't me just empathizing, that was me actually taking on their emotions. So you might find that you feel other people's emotions, and you might find that you're feeling certain emotions for no reason other than being around certain people, or because there's certain things happening on a planetary level. Number three is physical symptoms. So not only do you feel other people's emotions, you may feel physical pain in your body. And as a healer, I know that I really noticed this when I started practicing Reiki. And I remember during one of my first sessions, I was working with somebody. At the start of the session, I was feeling fine. During the session, I started having symptoms of cold. I started getting a runny nose. I started getting a sore throat. I started feeling like I wanted to sneeze. And at the end of the session, I said to the person, "Do you have a cold?" And they said, "Oh yeah, I just started getting a cold, a couple of days ago." And as soon as I cut ties with that person, when they walked out of the room and I cleared my energy, all the symptoms went away. So that's what I mean. And it works on so many levels. I remember working with somebody who was heavily pregnant. And I remember they walked in, I was like, "Oh, you're about to have a baby." I remember when I had my baby, and oh, it's such a lovely time when you're expecting. And by the end of the session, I could feel every ache and pain in my body. I was like, "Get out of here. I don't want to feel any more of the stuff you're going through." I didn't say that to them, but I could feel all of that heaviness, that just the latter stage of pregnancy where you're just feeling just really like, well, maybe not everybody feels this way, but I know I felt really heavy and you just want to get the baby out. So you feel physical symptoms. The fourth thing is that you can read people. So you might find that you're highly intuitive. You know other people's intentions. Even if somebody is talking to you and they are saying certain things, you can see through that, and you can feel or know the meaning beneath the words, or you can sense what they really feel, even if they're saying something different. You find that if there's something up with family or friends, even if they haven't told you about it, suddenly they might pop into your mind and you might think, "Oh, I have to ring them. There's something wrong, or they need my help." So it can work on many levels. So you can read people, you can sense what's going on with people. And then the fifth thing is that you find yourself standing at a distance from people. And this is really fun because I know that when people invade my personal space, I find myself taking a step back. When I'm queuing up, I find that there'll be at least a meter between me and the person in front of me, because I'll stand right back. And if somebody queues up right behind me and is breathing down my neck, I want to move into my own space. I don't want to be standing in other people's energy, in that energy soup. I want to have my own personal space. And you might find that, like that, you not just standing at a distance from people, but you may find you don't like being in crowds or crowded areas, or you need a lot of alone time just to recharge, or time in nature just to recharge. So that's a really quick summary of 5 signs that you're an empath. So heightened feelings, heightened emotions, physical symptoms, feeling other people's pain, being able to read people, so highly intuitive, and you find yourself just craving more alone time or just personal space. So if you find that any of those resonate with you, if you find that you are an empath, make sure to take care of yourself, honor your gifts, because really that's how we empathize with people, when we know what's going on. And it's like when people say to me, that phrase, "Oh, I know what you're going through." Sometimes it's just lip service. It's just people saying it. When I say to people, "I know what you're going through," I know what they're going through. I feel it. It's like I am going through it with them. So it's to honor what is coming up for you. Make sure you're clearing your energy, and keeping your energy clear will really help. And I'll put a link below to practice that you could do to keep your energy clear. And yeah, just honor where you're at and honor your empathic nature, because it really is a gift and it helps you to empathize with others and serve others in so much better ways. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you next week for another episode of the Fiercely Spiritual Podcast. See you then. Bye bye.